In today's lesson, we're going to discuss adding tables in Microsoft Word. And you would use a table if you want to sort out your text, if you needed to have lists of things. And it's very simple to do a table in Word. We're going to use the Insert tab, and we're going to work in the Tables group. Now, there's two ways of inserting a table in Microsoft Word. The first one is to click on the table and to actually drag out how many columns and rows you want. Or the other way is to go to Insert Table, and to actually choose how many columns and rows you want. So for today, we'll use 3 columns and 3 rows, and then you say OK. So in Microsoft Word, your tables consist of columns and rows. Your columns are vertical, like I'm illustrating here, and your rows run horizontal. And where the rows and the columns meet, the little cells or the little boxes is where you would insert your text. Okay, now I have a document that's already done with columns and rows, because obviously you need to be able to format your table. It's quite simple to format a table. Let's just start by selecting the columns and the rows. To select a column, you place your mouse above the column you want to select. Can you see it's become a little black arrow facing down? If you click once, you will select that whole column. And then you can format it any way you like. You can change the font, you can make it bold, you can center your text, you can do any kind of formatting. The same works for a row. If you just put your mouse outside of the row you want to select, can you see your mouse pointer? It becomes a white pointer facing to the right. If you click once, you will have selected your entire row. And in the same way, you can go and format that row any way you want. Okay, generally, if we are typing, numbers should always be aligned to the right. So I'm going to select all these numbers and I'm going to align them to the right. Okay, now when you insert a table, it automatically will put borders in for you. If you want to format it any other way, you can go to Design. And there's a whole list of table styles for you to choose from. You just click on the style that you want, and Word will format it in that style for you. This is medium shading 2, and that's what that formatting looks like. Otherwise, you can use your own formatting, and you can choose your own borders on the outside. So you're going to select your table. You're going to right-click on your table. You're going to go to Borders and Shading. You're going to click on Borders, and then under Style, you can choose whichever border you want. So we can have a double-line border for the outside, and we can choose a dotted line for the inside. We can even change the color that we want. And if I click on the inside, it'll put that double line border, the dotted border on the inside, so it looks like that. In the same way, we can also shade in our cells. I'm going to highlight the cells, right click, I'm going to go to Borders and Shading. This time I'm going to click on the Shading tab, and in the full color, I am going to choose a full color, and then this column has been filled in a color. So it's quite simple to do formatting with tables. You might realize at some stage that you need more columns or more rows, so you would have to go and insert them after the fact, and it's quite simple to do that. If I wanted to insert a row above this first one with the headings Country, Gold, Silver and Bronze, you highlight the row that you want. I'm going to right click, and it comes up with an option to choose Insert, and it lets me insert columns or rows, but in this case I'm going to choose Insert Rows Above, and you will see that a brand new row has been inserted above my first row. And it works the same way with columns. I'm going to highlight the last column. I'm going to right click, and from the menu I'm going to choose insert again. This time I'm going to choose columns to the right, and now it's inserted a whole brand new column to the right. If I want to put in a big heading and merge all these cells at the top to make it look good, in the first cell I'm going to type in medals 1. I'm going to highlight the first row. I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose merge cells and then center, and you can see that it's put medals 1 in the top row and it's been completely merged. Okay, if I want to delete columns and row, it works the same way. I'm going to highlight the row, I'm going to right click and I'm going to say delete rows. It works the same thing for columns. I'm going to highlight the column, I'm going to right click and I'm going to say delete column. So in that way it's quite easy to insert and delete your columns. Okay, we're going to look at OpenOffice now. Similarly in OpenOffice, I'm going to now use table, and I'm going to choose insert table, and it lets me choose how many columns and how many rows I want. I'm going to say OK, and then it automatically inserts the number of rows and columns that I want. It also brings up a table menu that gives you options of deleting rows, inserting columns, inserting rows. It lets you split cells in a table, it lets you put in a background color, and it lets you do borders. So in that way it's very similar to Microsoft Word. If you want to split a table in two, for instance, in this case, say for instance I wanted to keep the European country separate from the USA, I'm going to want to split the table where it says USA. So I'm going to highlight the row where it says USA. I'm going to go to layout, and in the merge group over here I'm going to choose split table, and my table is now split in two, completely separately. Also, say for instance I wanted to take this information out of my table and I just wanted it as text. I'm going to highlight my table, I'm going to go back to layout, and in the data group I'm going to choose convert to text, and it's going to ask me how I want my text separated. Do I want paragraph marks? Do I want tabs, commas? I'm going to choose tabs and I'm going to say OK, and you'll see that my table is now being converted to text. And if I click on my show hide button over here, you will see that it's been separated by tabs. You might want to sort information in a table alphabetically. So all you need to do is highlight your whole table, and then in the layout tab in the data group we are going to click on the sort button, and it comes up with your sort dialog box. You have options to sort it by whatever your headings are in your table. So if I click on the drop down list next to sort by, I have a choice to sort it by country or gold or silver or bronze, but for today I'm just going to sort it by country. I can then add another sort, and I'm going to sort it by gold. You can choose ascending or descending. Once you've made your choice, you can click on OK, and you will see that the countries are now sorted alphabetically. So it goes from Canada to the USA, and the medals have also been sorted. And that brings us to the end of our lesson on tables.